my life.
Okay, you're live. Did you want to go live yet?
I am now.
You take it down for a minute?
No, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the Ark of New Jersey, everyone. Pretty much on time, right? No, not quite, but not real late. So thank you for coming on board. We're doing the same thing as last week. We're going live with you online, and we're doing Zoom over here. So we got both things happening, Brittany. Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. So welcome everybody that's on board one way or the other for joining with us. And we're going to get started in a few minutes. We're just really got stuff on my keyboard. So thank you for coming. Hopefully everyone had a peaceful week. I know that some of us have been ordered back to work. Some of us are still sitting at home. This whole thing is kind of weird what's happening, but we're learning to make the adjustments and to accept what's happening, whether they be whatever the marching orders are. It's kind of like our walk with Yah. Our marching orders may be different as the days go on, but we need to find ourselves faithful in no matter what the circumstances, whether we're going out or staying in. We got people in New York, Virginia, and South Jersey, and now some of the states are opening up, and some of them are not, and they're opening up down at the shore, and some things are happening that are kind of eye openers for us if we're paying attention. So I'm going to sound the shofar. Nice is going to pray, and then we're going to get right into the word. And as custom, I face Jerusalem when I pray, but I won't for the blowing of the shofar. That was a bad shofar blow today, but hallelujah. Ananias, can you speak up a little bit? Speak up a little bit and pray for us, okay?
Father, Sabbath and we thank you for allowing us to come together even in this strange way. We thank you for protecting us through this pandemic, for understanding and wisdom that we won't and that we won't fear. We ask you for peace so we can get through this and inspire others to do the same. We ask you to help us understand the word.
Hallelujah. So before we get into the word, I have a few things that I want to kind of talk about. Everyone seeing what's happening out in the world today with not just the corona thing happening where older people are getting this. Now, just yesterday, there was a report that there's a new something coming out. They haven't even identified the name of it yet, but they said that they believe it's corona related, but it's attacking the children. Now the kids are starting to get stung. And you pay attention to what's happening. Before that, we had the killer hornets, murder hornets. So you got hornets out here. They said that the hornets are this big, huge.
And they nest on the ground.
Really?
Yes, they make their little nest in the ground, on the ground. So you can step on them.
Like above the ground?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, no.
Walk by, not even know it. You could be out playing catch or walking around or walking the dog. Step on.
Okay, they need to keep that over in the West Coast. Has anyone seen a hornet's nest ever, like live? I've seen a hornet's nest. It's been years ago that I've seen one. But the nest itself was maybe 18, 20 inches. Huge. And it was hanging from a tree. And they build this thing, and it's really it's like a big, gigantic bee's nest, but it's just round, and it just hung there. Now, can you imagine something? Now, what size is a nest that has hornets 2 inches big? Yeah, and it's on the ground.
Huge.
And you imagine tripping over it or throwing the football and it lands on it and it gets in. Okay, so last year I was cutting grass and I have bees in my yard. I haven't spotted the bees this year. They were in the backyard. They moved to the front yard. Oh no, first they were in the front yard. Then they moved and they found a place in the backyard. And then last year they were back in the front yard. I don't know if I'm going to get them again this year or not. But the only time that you find the bees is you stand around very carefully, just sit there and watch and wait until you see them start going into the ground because they nest in the ground. This one I didn't notice until after I ran over it with the lawnmower. Now I got them all riled up. And I didn't know. Oh, it was like a bee swung by. I just swiped at it like so what? It's just a bee. A little bit nervous because I was in his area. I didn't know that when I went back, I ran over it again, and they came after me. When I say they came after me, they sent a squadron after me. I got stung on my arms, on my chest, and I came in and I pulled my shirt off, and I felt something inside my sweat underneath my. I said, "What is this?" And I pulled it off, and there was another one inside. I was butt naked in about 5 seconds flat because I didn't know where these bees were at, but they were all on my pants and my leg and my shirt. Now they ain't little teeny bees.
We can laugh about that, but that's serious stuff because you're allergic. Reaction. Favorite.
Yes, yeah. I had a nephew that was with me. He got stung by a bee in his lip, and he's allergic to it. And he looked like the Martin episode. His lips swollen up. His lip was this fat. They took him to the hospital. Fortunately, he was older. Because if he was younger and that happened, they would have been calling him Bubble Lip or something. He would have had a new nickname. So, go ahead.
Talks about God's going to use the hornet to drive the Canaanites out of the land, prepare the land for
the scripture actually talks about that, about them using the hornet to drive out the enemy. And then when he talks about that, he said, I'll do it, but I won't do it all at once. But I'll do it a little at a time, which is interesting because what Yah is doing now is he's doing it a little at a time. And his sequence is so beautiful. I'll use this phrase, is beautiful. It's marvelous in our sight to see the hand of Yah actually working on our behalf. And why is it that Black people are now falling down with this corona so much? He's working on our behalf because judgment's going to start where it's going to start with the Judean. He's going to start with us because the word is given to us. And the Spirit of Yah is actually in us in order for us to pass it on. We don't want to pay attention to it, and we want to ignore it. You know, it says that there's no you're without excuse. Everybody knows who died today, right? Little Richard. Now, little Richard died today. Yeah. Why are you doing a Little Richard imitation?
And I was like, who's Little Richard?
She don't know who Little Richard is? He doesn't.
Giants doesn't know.
Oh,
I know who Little Richard is.
yes. The blessing, if there's any in this, is that Little Richard came to some semblance of truth and denounced homosexuality and started walking in a way that he started keeping Shabbat and started,
He did?
Seventh-day Adventist.
Oh, that's right.
With that, or did he even renounce that?
Oh, I don't know. You think he renounced that?
I think he backslid.
All right, well, he may not have, but it's in us to know what. Someone said she had no idea. Yes. Okay, and another little known fact, since we're talking about this, in his band, you know who was in his band? And you'll know this. Jimi Hendrix was in his band. Yeah.
I would have nice knew that.
You would know who Jimi Hendrix is. Everybody know who Jimi Hendrix is. He says he doesn't even know who Jimi Hendrix is.
I didn't think so.
Guy with the afro, the guitar player.
He played the national anthem with his teeth on the guitar. Look it up. Google it.
We got some work for you tonight. Little Richard and Jimi Hendrix.
Oh. But you know, our life is like a story that's here today, gone tomorrow, and even the most famous will not be remembered. You know, we'll be like, yeah, you remember Michael Jordan? And it's gonna be funny when basketball is no longer in existence. Like, he played basketball. What is that? I have a Psalms for us to read. Psalms 41. So I want to talk. I want to have a conversation with you guys about an ancient city. There was this ancient city that was so renowned, so fabulous, so like in all the cities that were ever built, most of them are so destroyed that you have to dig into the dirt and maybe find some of the remains, pots, and skeletons, and they keep digging. They may find a wall. They said they found the walls of Jericho, right? This one city was so magnificent that the remains are still visible today without any escalation. And we're talking like centuries before Yeshua. But first, before we get there, Elohim 41. You want to read that, Robin?
I'm trying to get on Zoom. Get muted. Let Benjamin.
Oh no, yeah, let's have Benjamin read. I'm gonna start out with Benjamin. He's gonna be my Psalms reader. Wait a minute. So we're gonna need you to speak up a little louder. Benjamin is 10 years old, and I'm excited about the youth because the youth have to carry on this. There'll be if Yah delays his return, there'll be a day when elders no longer around, and that his mom and dad are getting to an age. Well, maybe they'll be walking and using walkers and stuff, and somebody and somebody gonna have to be preaching and teaching the word. So let's see. I gotta put you in. So with this young man and Ananias, we got young people that are going to be able to continue to teach truth, and they're going to be able to come back and say, I remember that old guy said, or that elder said. This is let's read through this. So Benjamin's going to read this.
Blessed is he that considereth poor. Word will deliver his silence.
That's me.
One of us, you got to unmute your phone. Okay. Turn your volume up so I can hear. Volume.
I muted myself.
All right, Benjamin, got to start again.
Blessed is he that considereth the poor. The Lord will deliver him in the time of trouble. The Lord will preserve him and keep him alive, and he shall be blessed upon the earth. Thou wilt not deliver him unto the will of his enemies. The Lord will strengthen him upon the bed of languishing. Thou wilt make all his bed his sickness. I said, Lord, be merciful unto me, heal my soul, for I have sinned against thee. Mine enemies speak evil of me. When shall he die, and his name perish? And if he come to see me, he speaketh vanity. His heart gathereth iniquity to itself. When he goeth abroad, he telleth it, and that hate me whisper together against me. Against me do they devise my hurt. In evil disease say they, cleaveth fast unto him. And now that he lieth, he shall rise up no more. Yeah, mine own familiar friend, in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, hath lifted up his heel against me. But thou, O Lord, be merciful unto me, and raise me up, that I may requite them. By this I know that thou favorest me, because mine enemy doeth not triumph over me. As for me, thou upholdest me in mine integrity, and settest me before thy face forever. Blessed be the Lord Yah of Israel from everlasting and to everlasting. Amen and amen.
Right. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Now you gotta turn that down. Feedback. Getting feedback. Too many computers in one room.
Now, isn't that verse 9 is a isn't it like a prophecy of Judas and Joshua? I think I read somewhere where that was saying that was his friend betrayed him.
Mm-hmm. Even my close friend, whom I trusted, whom I ate bread with on the Passover or Pesach, lifted up his heel against me. So that's a prophecy, and the rest of the text is a prophecy also of what's going to happen. Yeah, that's good. Good. Anybody else see anything else in the chapter that we just read?
An evil disease.
Hmm?
The part where it says an evil disease. Verse 8.
Okay. And Yahweh protects him and keeps him. Oh, that's verse 2. I was all the way up at 2 because I wanted to see 4. He restores his illness. Let's go down to 8. You said 8. And deadly things is poured out.
What chapter are you
Where am I at?
41 you're supposed to be in.
Okay. And what does yours read in 8 verse 8?
An evil disease, say they, cleaves fast unto him. And now that he lies, he shall rise up no more.
Yes, my version was so weird. It said the same thing, but it said it kind of twisted.
Yeah, that's way off.
Is way off from my ESV was way off from the Sefer. So listen, I wanted to talk about this city. Can anyone guess what city I was talking about that was had such notoriety, that was so famous, such a large city that's that's still represented today. You can still see it.
You said Sodom.
Because Sodom is destroyed, right? Egypt was destroyed. It's been rebuilt, but you can still see the pyramids, right? This one was the kingdom of Esau. Was one of his large kingdoms. Rome, and that's a good one. That's a good one because there's some spots in Rome that you can still see, right? You can still see the ancient Colosseum, right? You can still see some of the landmarks of Rome, but you have to look underneath the city to see it because a lot of it is now been buried.
Part of Jerusalem, like where the Catholic churches and stuff are. Greece.
I like that idea, but everything in Jerusalem was torn down and then rebuilt. Do you know when they build anything in Jerusalem, they have to use old bricks? They can't make new bricks. They have to make because they want to keep that prestige look of the city being old. Hmm. This one, okay. Here you go. This city is built in the rocks, partially man-made and partially Yah erected.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I know what it is, but I don't want to tell it.
What's that?
Petra?
Got it. Okay, so Petra, if you want on your off time this week, Google it. This ancient city of Petra lies between the Dead Sea and the other sea. Two seas. It's like it falls in between. It's in Jordan.
Tigers.
Passion like you.
What's that?
Passion like
Mm-hmm. Okay, so before we read the book that I'm going to read, Paul Shaul went to the temple and he says, "You guys don't know who you serve. You're talking about serving this God above all these gods, but you don't know which one you really serve." And then he gave them a discourse. Everybody know where we're talking about in the book of Acts? Maybe 15. What's that? The unknown God. The unknown God. These people in Petra worshiped an unknown God. This God's name is Oratol. How would you pronounce that?
What is it? O-R what?
Right. Oratol.
Uh-huh.
Oracle.
Oracle.
Okay. There's medicines that are named that same medicine. This particular, now you can look it up, all right? You can look it up. This God was the God of the rock. If you ever like of all places that I would like to visit, this is one of the places that I would love to visit because there was this city that's built in rocks. It's like in the mountain, but it's got, if you see it, it's 110 miles square, something like that. But there's like huge buildings that are caved into the rocks, or carved into the rocks. There's steps. And the question is, did they do this by man or did they do it with some other type of being to help them with a chisel and a hammer? See, when I hear and I see things like this, I'm like, this is impossible that a man did this. without some other being helping them. Look at Petra. Petra has, since it was influenced by the Edomites, and it became one of the Edomites' capitals, it had a theme to it that matched Rome. The same theme matched the United States. They all worship this bird, eagle. Why you worship? How does this all fall in line with what's going to happen? I believe when we read this text that we're getting ready to read, is going to bring it all together. I often say this: Yah works what? Cyclical. So he destroyed a people to give us a sign of how he's going to destroy these same people. Let's go into, I don't know why they leave some books in the Bible and they take some out. This one, I think they should have taken out. Wasn't big enough for them to put it in there. Maybe they figure out, well, I don't understand what it's saying, so let's just leave it in there. Very short book. So we're going to read the whole book. It's only one chapter. Obadiah. This is one of those books that if you could have dust in your Bible from not opening it, it would have dust in it. Because who reads Obadiah? Anybody know where Obadiah is? Okay, find Jonah, go backwards. Find Amos, go forward. It's one page, it's like right in the middle. Find Micah, go backwards. Find Daniel, go to the right.
Brittany said she found it.
Nobody looks for Obadiah. What is his name in his real name? Because Obadiah is not his real name.
It's Yahoo.
Yahoo. So your homework, the first thing that you do while you're here is you put right next to the name Obadiah, put a little equal mark next to it, and write his real name down. Yahoo. It means a servant or a worshiper of Yahweh. That's what his name means. Now, this character, this prophet, there's not much to say about him. No one knows much about him. You'll hear commentators give you different views of when he actually existed. But I can tell you this much: he existed after the Babylonian captivity. He after all of the other captivities, Obadiah pops up. And so we're going to read through this chapter, and it's very short. It's only 21 verses. It's actually going to lead me to another chapter, and I will look at my watch and my clock and try to be careful with my timing. What's that? Yeah. So let's start with this vision.
The vision of Obadiah. Thus says Adonai Yahuwah concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Isn't that crazy? So here Yah says, I sent out scouts to find out what's going on with the heathens. I sent out scouts. I want firsthand witness of what's happening down there. So I sent my angels out. Remember Sodom and Gomorrah? Someone talked about Sodom. He sent his angels out to Sodom. Like God didn't know what was going on. He sent his angels out to look at Sodom before he passed judgment on it. He sent his angels to these heathen nations that have been influenced by the Edomites. Okay, so here's the deal. Our brother, Esau, our brother, started getting influenced, being involved with the heathen so much that he was giving them his spin on things, and he started blending with them. We go back and look at the original Edomite, and the first thing he started doing was looking after the Canaan wives, looking for foreigners to fall in love with, even though his dad told him not to do it. And so now you get to a whole generation. Who was the king of in Israel when Yeshua was arrived? What was his name? King H. Can't hear you. You're on mute.
Aaron.
Thank you. And what was he? What was his nationality? Edomite. Okay. All right. So that's side note. Okay. So he said he sent out his ambassadors to the heathen to see what was going on. Verse 2.
Behold, I have made you small among the heathen. You are greatly despised. The pride of your heart has deceived you, you that dwell in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that says in his heart, he shall bring me down to the ground.
Okay, so this is a direct response to these heathens, and they started rising up. There's a people that insist on living in cliffs, living in caves, living in the rocks, and it's not us. Just watch and listen, okay? Behold, I have made thee small amongst the heathens. Now he's talking, listen how it switches, because first he's talking to us. We're small amongst the heathens. So just listen, because the thing that we don't see, but is right before us, is the pride of the heathens. And there's a mindset that they have, like they feel like they don't need. You don't kill one of Yahushua's people, shoot him down, and feel like you did anything wrong because you're so prideful that you feel like you're good. To come to modern day storyline, right? So let's do 3 and keep on reading.
The pride of your heart has deceived you, you that dwell in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that says in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though you exalt yourself as the eagle, and though you set your nest among the stars, thence will I bring you down, says Yahuwah.
Now, if you look at I lost the name of the place, Petra. If you look at Petra, Petra has like Yahweh already knows what's in their heart. They had such pride that they had these eagles all over the place. And in 2015, they found 800 yards away from the center of Petra a plateau. And the plateau was a place where they did worship, where they killed stuff, and they would kill their and do their sacrifices and then drink blood. This is not unlikely of them because they're hungry for blood. And this plateau was one of the highest plateaus in all of any civilization at that particular time. It was so high. The only way they spotted it, they found it, was by flying over the area with drones, and they said this was hidden in plain sight. All right, there's a reason why I keep going back there, because this particular people were so prideful that they put together something that was so magnificent that today is still not that deteriorated. You can still walk into the place and still see it today, because there's nothing but rose colored. They call it Rose City. The stone is red like roses. It's beautiful, beautiful place to take pictures if you want to take photos of rocks. All right, let's go. Before we go any further, in verse 3, their pride deceived them. That's the deception. The pride is the thing that will start to deceive you, and you will think you have righteousness. Verse 4.
Though you exalt yourself as the eagle, and though you set your nest among the stars, thence will I bring you down, says Yahuwah. If thieves came to you, if robbers by night, how are you cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to you, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of your confederacy have brought you even to the border. The men that were at peace with you have deceived you and prevailed against you. They that eat your bread have laid a wound under you. There is no understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, says Yahuwah, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And your mighty men, O Taman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
Okay, so this has not completely been completed yet, but you can see it in the past. You can see what happened. If you listen to the story of Esau and Petra, and how it was destroyed in such a way. It was more they were trying to make allegiance with outside forces, Rome and other countries, and then something happened where they got confused with each other. And this is the only city that I've heard of that the remains was there, but the remains were not there. The buildings were there, but there's no bricks. I mean, no cooking tool utensils, no nothing that looked like they abandoned the city. They just took off and left, and no one knows why. But there's nothing there to show, no pottery and no remains like you can look and say, oh, this is where they cooked at, or this, besides the empty walls. Like, they didn't just up and leave quickly. They took their time and they packed up everything and left. All right. So Yah is talking about men that they have confederate with, have made allegiance with, and watch what he's going to do. because he said they're going to be cut off by the slaughter, but we have to read more.
For your violence against your brother Yaakov, shame shall cover you, and you shall be cut off forever.
The whole nation of Esau is going to get cut off forever. When Yah comes back, before he comes back, he's going to start wiping out some stuff. And you're going to start seeing it happen over and over again. Don't be surprised if you wake up and they start saying something like all the children are starting to die. Don't be surprised if anything different comes. When Yah starts working and he stretches forth his hand again, because that's the words, the terminology we had. He stretched his hand, and when he stretched his hand, disaster came before our deliverance. When he stretches his hand again, verse 11.
In the day that you stood on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even you were as one of them. But you should not have looked on the day of your brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither should you have rejoiced over the children of Yehuda in the day of their destruction. Neither should you have spoken proudly in the day of distress.
All right, I want to stop here for 1 second. Take a deep breath. Who is Judah? If you're believing in replacement theology, you'll never get this. You'll never get it. You'll lose the whole concept of what's happening here. Because when you realize that Judah is us, we're that smaller people. We're the ones that have been abused, and even till today. I turned on Facebook this morning and saw this young lady that they went into her house and they shot her up like 9 times. Because they have this policy now that they can go into your building, into your house, without making any warnings. They don't have to say, "Here come the police." They can just bust in because they're afraid that if you have drugs, you may flush it down the hole. So they now can go in and just bust right in. And meanwhile, she in bed sleep, she wake up to these police officers, and then they shoot her down 8 times, and nobody's found guilty. And no one's and they almost make a mockery. How you shoot a man down with a shotgun in the middle of the street, and nobody ever says anything. It takes 10 weeks later before because the evidence is out and we see it, before they even say anything. Go ahead. No, speak up.
10 weeks, 2.5 months.
Before they even say anything. Mom's crying, dad's crying. Read the book. If you know that this is Judah and everyone is walking around acting like it's not, this just another black man died. Verse 12. Now listen to it again and listen to it like he's talking to you. Verse 12.
But you should not have looked on the day of your brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither should you have rejoiced over the children of Yehuda in the day of their destruction. Neither should you have spoken proudly in the day of distress. You should not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yet you should have not looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither should you have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither should you have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of Yahuwah is near upon all the heathen. As you have done, it shall be done unto you. Your reward shall return upon your own head.
15 is something that needs to be highlighted, and we need to be repeating over and over again. The day of the Lord. Okay, the day of Yahweh is coming near unto the heathen. 15. Read 15 again, please.
For the day of Yahuwah is near upon all the heathen. As you have done, it shall be done unto you.
As you done, you heard this phrase, as you reap, you will sow. No one wants to talk about this because, besides a few of us Hebrews, because as you reap, you will sow. I'm sorry, that's his word. They have to pay. The nation has to pay. And they don't have to pay us because Yah is coming back with vengeance. The day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathens that has done this. Go ahead.
16. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yeah, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon my Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Yaakov shall possess their possession. And the house of Yaakov shall be a fire, and the house of Yoshep a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh has spoken it. And they of the Negev shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain the Palestine, and they shall possess the lands of Ephraim, and the fields of Shamaron, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. And the captivity of this host of the children of Yisra'el shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Sephrath, and the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the Negev. And Savior shall come on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be Yahweh's.
So Yah is going to appoint certain people, and they will be as saviors, helping to point out deliverance. Now, this leads me to Jeremiah. We're almost done. This leads me to Jeremiah because Yah is not going to let this just occur, this stuff happen, and not record it. Don't count it strange when when certain visitors visit you because they may be those angels or ambassadors of Yah, walking amongst the heathens, checking out what's going on here. Jeremiah 49.
Concerning the Ammonian, thus says Yahuwah, has Yasharal no sons? Has he no heir? Why then does their king inherit Gad, and his people dwell in his cities? Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yahuwah, that I will cause an alarm of war to be heard in Rabbah of the Ammonian, and it shall be a desolate heap, and her daughters shall be burned with fire. Then shall Yasharel be heir unto them that were his heirs, says Yahuwah. Howl, O Chesbon, for Ai is spoiled. Cry, ye daughters of Rabbah, gird you with sackcloth, lament and run to and fro by the hedges. For their king shall go into captivity, and his priests and his princes together. Wherefore glory you in the valleys, your flowing valley, O backsliding daughter, that trusted in her treasures, saying, who shall come unto me?
verse are you?
Excuse me.
What verse are you in?
5.
Okay, behold.
Behold, I will bring a fear upon you, says Adonai Yahuwah Sabaoth, from all those that be about you, and ye shall be driven out every man right forth, and none shall gather up him that wanders. And afterward I will bring again the captivity of the children of Ammon, says Yahuwah.
And here now we get into Edom. Now concerning
Edom, thus says Yahuwah Sabaoth.
Here he's going to give a not just a vision, because what we just listened to was a vision of Obadiah. Now he's going to give out direct orders. I know I keep going back and forth with what's happening today. We had a Mission Impossible occur yesterday. Everybody watched Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise, right? All these different movies about these guys going out and doing these secret missions, and they said the Tom Cruise thing is like, we give you an outline of what you're going to do, and if you get caught, we will deny any knowledge of you. All right, so we just had that happen this week, just yesterday. People were caught doing something that they shouldn't have been doing, and they got caught, and then they're like, the United States says we don't have any idea what these people were doing.
Was that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on the same page. Or like, we didn't have any direct you knew exactly what was happening. All right. Where we at? Verse 6, 7.
7.
All right. Now you can do 6.
And afterward I will bring again the captivity of the children of Ammon, says Yahuwah. Concerning Edom, thus says Yahuwah Sabaoth, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan. For I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. If grape gatherers come to you, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough.
Same words in Obadiah. Almost this point to point. It's like if a thief came, at least he would be like, he only grabbed what he needed. He didn't take everything. If somebody came and stole grapes, he would still leave some on the ground for somebody else. He wasn't thinking just about himself. These people in these East Edomites, the spirit of Edomite. Make it real clear. The spirit of Edomite is get everything you can for yourself. And if anybody comes and takes or touches anything as yours, kill them until you seek revenge. Okay, so even if you don't get the right one, get somebody. Somebody got paid for this. That's an evil spirit. It's like that's the thing that happened just in Atlanta. It's like they just had to kill somebody. Somebody got to die. They took my stuff. In verse 9, if the gate gatherers
come to you, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. Leave your fatherless children. I will preserve them alive, and let your widows trust in me. For thus says Yahuwah, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And are you he that shall altogether go unpunished? You shall not go unpunished, but you shall surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, says Yahuwah, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste. I have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her, and rise up to battle.
Okay, here goes this ambassador again. I've sent out an ambassador again to the heathens. He's checking. Yah's not letting anything go unnoticed. And our faith in Yah should be evident that Yah's not going to be, he's not letting it go unnoticed. So before we go any further, you need to be able to at least try to protect yourself, defend yourself. Because the battle's drawing nigh. It's getting very close. It may be a time where you have to defend yourself. You best find yourself a I know somebody in our group is a marksman with a bow and arrow. You better find yourself a bow, an arrow, a sword, how to defend yourself with a knife. You know, you shouldn't be running a shoe, not a shoe. No.
That's a black woman.
I wanted to talk about the football player. You need to find yourself a knife. You need to find yourself a gun. If you can get to protect yourself, and I said I was going to talk about the football player, but the girl went looking for her husband, and found him in the bed with some other women, and she brought her girlfriends with her, right? And took the gun, out of his hand. He had the gun pointed to his head. It was getting ready, trying to scare him to death. But she said, I know that the gun wasn't loaded because it didn't have a clip in it. But I'm bringing this to your attention. If you're going to use a gun, know that it doesn't have a bullet in it, because it had a bullet in the chamber. If she had just played with him and act like she was going to shoot him, she would have blew his brains out because she didn't know the gun. So if you're going to have a gun, take some lessons, learn how to shoot, learn how to handle it. If you have a knife, you need to even take lessons on how to handle a knife. You jog, and you shouldn't jog without some kind of protection on your body. You need to have a knife when you're strapped around you, if nothing else. Something. You a spit in the shoe will not do. In this day and time, you best be able to protect yourself a little bit. When things are out back in, we're allowed to touch each other again, we're looking to put together some type of a self-defense class so that women know how to protect themselves. Like, even men need to know how to take care of themselves. So if someone attacks you with a shotgun, you should be able to at least disarm him or do something.
Brittany says, what about martial arts?
Yes. You need martial arts. Brittany. I'm a martial arts person, so I'm down with you on that.
In verse 13, it says, Bozrah. What is that? For I have sworn by myself, saith Yah, that Bozrah shall become a desolate. What is that?
I didn't look up that city, but it's a desolate city.
We'll look that up.
We'll look it up.
And we'll put something on GroupMe. Yeah.
Okay. Where are we at? 14?
I have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her, and rise up to the battle. For lo, I will make you small among the heathen, and despised among men. Your terribleness has deceived you, and the pride of your heart O you that dwell in the cliffs of the rock, that hold the height of the hill. Though you should make your nest as high as the eagle, I will bring you down from thence, says Yahweh. Also, Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goes by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, says Jehovah. No man shall abide there, neither shall a son of Adam dwell in it.
And so there's that word again, plagues. Somebody wants to say, I don't know if this is a plague. Okay, calm down. What is it if it's not a plague? Yah's going to bring down his plagues, and guess what? So even the plagues will be, you will be associated with the plagues because you haven't learned to come out from amongst them. According to Revelations, he says, come out from amongst them so that when they are being judged by the plagues, that the plagues don't come amongst you. Our problem is we don't want to come out from amongst them. I've been practicing social distancing. Oh, I mess that word up every time I say it. For a couple of years now. And hopefully, so has all of us. Get yourself away from them. You see them and greet them, and you can be around them, like the Yeshua says. They can be you can be in the world, but not of the world. You can be around them, but you don't have to have them all up in your residence. We don't understand this. We don't understand this. I'm gonna be right frank with you. We don't understand what it means to be called set apart, like that. We don't understand, but like you go in their house, you're with them for a minute. When you leave, they'll be like, I was wondering when that nigga was gonna leave here. And we'll be like, yeah. But they don't care. They care a little bit about you, but trust me, when the rubber meets the road, and it's us and them, that fine line, that line is not so fine that they can't see it. They can clearly distinguish between you and us, you and them. All right.
Verse 19.
Verse 19.
Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of the Jordan against the habitation of the strong. But I will suddenly make him run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint her over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahuwah that he has taken against Edom, and his purposes that he has proposed against the inhabitations of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Basra. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs.
Good riddance. Good riddance.
23.
Well, that was mainly the part that I wanted to talk about with Edom, because that was where he's basically laying out like the same vision that we just read about in Obadiah was regurgitated here in Jeremiah. It's amazing how he takes two people from two different locations and he gives them the same vision, But with the word, there's always you can't just take a word out of context and run with it. There's got to be line upon line, precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little. You need to find, if somebody tells you that you can't eat pig, find another verse that coincides with that. If someone tells you that you can worship on Sunday, and they can pull out a verse and say on the first day of the week they came together and read the scripture, find another verse to go along with it. If you can't anything in the script, there's got to be at least 2 verses to identify truth. Truth is not just one thing just popped up. If my people who are, okay, so who are my people? Search the scriptures to see if you know what you're talking about. Search the scriptures to see if you know truth. And Brittany, thank you for coming on board. I see you saying that you're glad to worship with us at home.
She's glad to be working.
Oh, working. I thought worshiping. I got bad eyes. That's well, I'm glad that you're working and worshiping from home. So time check. We're done. I just wanted to share a few things. Yes.
I have a question.
Hold that thought. So I'm getting ready to get off. Thank you for being with us. Thanks for being on the Ark in New Jersey. And in closing, I said the same thing I said last week. If you, first, if you wish to support us, you can reach out to Cash App or PayPal. We appreciate your support. We do thank you. We're looking forward to seeing you, speaking to you again next week. If you have a question, you can put it on in the comments. And we're looking forward to seeing you at 2:00 next week. Be safe. May Yahweh smile upon you. And we speak a blessing to everyone that's here following us on the Ark of New Jersey. Hallelujah. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, I'm back. Yes.
Question I have. I see a lot of. I hear a lot of people saying, supposedly a lot of camps saying that Esau is the white man, so that.
Mhm.
But it doesn't seem like that makes any sense.
It doesn't.
Okay.
And
Esau was Jacob's brother. I know there was probably some mixing or whatever between the Edomites and some of the Romans, but that wasn't a total thing, I don't think.
no, the issue was
They collaborate with the Romans, but they weren't of Rome.
Mhm.
They weren't of European descent. So I don't know where they got this philosophy that Esau is a white man.
they do that. They have 2 major things that are a problem. Esau's the white man, and the Native Americans are from the tribe of Gad, and so they want to put them in and make them a part of us. And yes, there was some of us here, and I believe some of us was here before the bastard Columbus made it. I believe there was some of us here before that, but Esau has mixed with them in such a way that his personality or his demeanor is found amongst them very thick. Like they didn't take any good from Esau, but they did take some of his bad characteristics. And so when we see those characteristics, or we would say the spirit of Esau is amongst them. But they're not, there's no way they could be Esau.
Jacob and Esau were twins.
Yes.
They were, I guess they were fraternal. They look exactly alike.
Yeah, they weren't identical, but they were.
Well, who is Esau then? Is it just a spirit? Is it just a pattern that's running through people?
Well, some people will tell you that I did a thing on Esau, the study of looking them up, and you would find that he's found to be really thick in the Arab world and in um, parts of Rome. Like he moved around, but he wasn't like. It's hard to pick him out and identify him as to say, "Oh, you're Esau." So yeah, it's hard. That's more difficult to find than it is to find Judah, because Judah was known to be together as a tribe, and we were here. We were always in a particular spot. Esau was more was separated from us.
And I have another question that kind of feeds off of that. Now, say we're the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade are Judah, but when Jerusalem was attacked in 70 AD, that part of the kingdom of Judah in Israel, they were the tribes that were left were Benjamin and Levi and Judah.
Mm-hmm.
So some of us could be Levitical, some of us could be of the tribe of Benjamin also.
Yes.
As well, the tribe of Judah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they all fled into the ones that escaped fled into Africa.
Yeah, because if you look at the Ashanti tribe, which is a tribe that's from the Ashanti, which is a Levitical tribe, and so you have a whole tribe there that's still in Africa for the most part, that are from the Levites, and that's why when you look through Africa, you find a lot of the tribes there that have different types of okay, what's the name? Haiti. They say Haiti is probably from the tribe of Dan. And you can see that in their characteristics because they got this witchcraft thing going on, which is very similar to Dan because of their behavior. They almost got excommunicated from the whole tribe system. Yeah, so we're everywhere. So we're scattered. We're not just. And then from the tribe of Judah, being that the ones that did survive and were near Ghana were the people that Ghana. I don't know if they were. I think they were Hamites for the most part, but they knew that there was a people that were of royalty next to them, and then they start snatching them up and using them as bait for their trade.
That makes sense too, because they're saying that there were people that were living among the Africans, the Hamites. They couldn't sell their if they were Islamic or whatever, they couldn't sell their brothers into slavery. But if somebody was different,
they could sell them.
They could sell them into slavery.
Right.
That's what
they said that the what's the other tribe? Zulu. The Zulu warriors was another tribe
South Africa.
in South Africa. And they were a huge amount of people. One of the only tribes that was never conquered.
They were warriors.
They were warriors.
I have the answer to the question that
Asha, we got an
Asha
answer
has-
for you for the answer for the question you were asking.
what does Basra or Basra? It means the word itself means a sheepfold or an enclosure in Hebrew. And it was a pastoral city in Edom. It says it's in Genesis, you'll find it in Genesis 36, 32 to 33, and it was the homeland of Esau.